You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
From the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx, this is Sports with Rich, All Bases Covered. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, everyone, our apologies for last week not being on the air. The technical glitches are getting ironed out, and we'll be live with you, live taking your phone calls on YouTube Live and all the other instant media, social media platforms in September. So the plan is the next 4 weeks we'll be with you, and then you can interact with us, of course, on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever your social media platform is to pick us up. Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Institute studios in the Bronx. In a moment, you'll meet Brandon Colon again, who co-hosts with me. He'll have an NBA segment. Big John is in the house, and we'll interject with him a little bit. And goes, Big John, I got off the street, knows his sports, we'll talk. Yang behind the cameras and much more. And even Big John later in the hour is going to go in the cages with the kids here at the Baseball Institute once again and try his shot at maybe being an Aaron Judge swing. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, thank you again. Our sponsors, once again, Ashra Mini Market and Deli here in the Bronx, New York, where you get all your great deli needs and specialties. He caters us every week here at Sports with Rich, all bases covered. And, of course, Razor Sharp, where you get the best cut in the Bronx and the best beard trim. Believe me, you go see Rob at Razor Sharp, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, to begin this week, it's, of course, the NBA, and there's a lot going on this time of year. We'll get to the baseball also, and plenty of that. NBA coverage and the big news, LeBron James. Let's get that straight. I should know that name by now, and I do. LeBron, as he is called. Big LeBron, no longer in Cleveland. He did his job, got them an NBA championship, but still making his money. Yeah, Cleveland fans knew this was inevitable. The NBA has to be very happy now that he's an LA Laker. 4 years, $154 million. Why do I say the NBA is happy? Well, that's primetime exposure again for the Lakers, who was so prominent with Kobe Bryant for years. And now LeBron takes over for Kobe in LA. Big move for the Lakers. We'll talk to Brandon about that later on in the hour as to the impact and how important this is, not only for the NBA, but for the Los Angeles Lakers, who could go right back into prominence and talking about an NBA championship again. So, big money taking place in the NBA, and we'll get the latest on the free agency signings and much more when Brandon Colon takes over in a little while. In the meantime, I had the opportunity to talk to John Starks this past week, the former NBA legend here in New York with the Knicks. Of course, the Knicks in their rebuilding stages still, and looking to make ground again and make an impact in the New York area and in the NBA. That's so important for the New York market. John Starks was in town promoting New York Sports Tours, a venture taking place in New York where you can get in a car and see significant and historic sports sites, venues in the history of New York sports. And you know, in New York City, my friends, very, very historic New York sports tours. We'll be talking more about that. John Starks talked to me about Kevin Knox, their number one draft pick, the Knicks from the University of Kentucky. Let's take a look at that right now. How's the team looking, your old team?
I like it. I like, what we're doing right now. I like the hire in Fizdale. I think he has the right mentality coming in here, and he's really trying to, get back to those New York roots, defense first, and I like our young player that we got, Knox. I think he has a great upside to him, and so, as you know, it's just about throwing the ball up and then go out there and play.
Okay, John, thank you.
You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
To the baseball action with the All-Star break just about 2 weeks away. There's a lot going on. Of course, the trade deadline, the non-waiver trade deadline, the end of the month. And a lot of names being floated around. Teams now looking to see what they need to get themselves to playing postseason baseball in October. And a lot of big names floating around, including Manny Machado, who's in his walk-off free agent year with the Orioles, and he could be a coveted guy that a team could use. Teams look for pitching now. Of course, pitching wins ball games. Pitching gets you into the postseason, and of course, good pitching could get you to win in the postseason, especially in those short series. And that pertains in particular to the New York Yankees. The Yankees, of course, are this team with the power, setting a record pace with the home run ball, especially in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium. This past weekend, 3 games with the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox-New York Yankees rivalry resumed, has a lot of significance because these two teams will battle it out towards the end of the season. The final 3 games will determine who goes to the division to be the winner, play the 3 or 5 ALDS, or who's the wild card team, the 1-game elimination you don't want. So the Yankees and Red Sox will be vying for pitching during the trading deadline. Of course, Sonny Gray doesn't have it, neither does David Price, and neither one of those teams is going to go far if they get the baseball. It's obvious right now. Brian Cashman told me at that New York Sports Tours media event this past week in New York City at Keen's Steakhouse, they're definitely looking. And I know Brian Cashman, know him for years. He's always on the phones, always working to pick up that extra piece to make sure the Yankees go that extra mile and take it all in October. They're obsessed with winning, as you know, as I always say, and the Yankees only feel their fulfillment is winning a world championship. And it's going to take one pitcher to do that. Despite this team having the best ERA out of the bullpen in the American League and possibly the best bullpen in baseball, and with all that home run production, that's going to probably break the Seattle Mariners home run record pace of, I think, 2003 was the year or something like that. Whatever it be, the Yankees have that and have been doing it, and they did it in that Red Sox-Yankees series at Yankee Stadium. So look out for the Yankees making the moves. Look for Brian Cashman definitely to have some announcements before that July 31 non-waiver trade deadline, where it's easy to make the trades. Now, turn the corner, cross town, New York Mets. We'll talk all baseball in a moment, but New York is always the center of attention. That's where we're based out of, and we got a lot of Yankee and Met fans on social media, obviously. And you know what's going on with the New York Mets? Transition. Now they have 3 general managers, the trio as I've been calling them. Omar Minaya, my point of view, fans, is that's the guy that's going to probably leading the barrage and cleaning house. John Ricco, J.P. Pichardi, they're a part of this. But Omar Minaya, who's got the knowledge, as I've been writing, the baseball knowledge to him, very respectable in the game. And Omar Minaya will be in charge of, with the trio, reporting to ownership. Now that's Sandy Alderson, the master as I call him. And by the way, we wish him the best. We know that he's not well. He's going to recover from his cancer battle. We hope he does, and God bless him for a speedy recovery. But right now, the Mets are in transition in the front office, and that also means cleaning house of these aging veterans. This is, my friends, if you're a Met fan, pathetic, disgusting, and something that every Met fan just can't tolerate no more. This is one of the worst baseball teams the Mets have put on the field in a long time. And I'm talking in the early 80s, before the 86 championship year. This is disgusting, as I say, deplorable. Hell, a Little League team could beat this team right now. Even the kids here that play for Hank Yanks at the Baseball Training Institute could beat this New York Mets team. It's not baseball. The Mets need to revamp all around and look at Jacob deGrom maybe as that trading piece, but I don't think that's happening. Sources are telling me more and more Jacob deGrom stays with the Mets, and if the Mets are going to peddle any trade with a pitcher, would be Noah Syndergaard, Jeurys Familia, who's in his walk-off year as the closer, who frankly hasn't been doing the job all season. Brian Cashman told me, don't rule it out. Mets, Yankees, they've made trades in the past. Not significant. It may not be as significant as the one we're talking about with Jacob deGrom. But from my perspective, deGrom stays with the Mets. Yankees, Mets don't make any moves. And if they do, it's going to be Noah Syndergaard going to the Yankees maybe, or another team along with Jeurys Familia. A lot of action on the New York Mets front. We'll be talking about that in the next couple of weeks as we approach that July 31 non-waiver trading deadline. Now, Bobby Bonilla Day, Sunday. Why did we call it Bobby Bonilla Day? Because that's every July 1st, Bobby Bonilla, made a deal with the Mets years ago. You remember him. Biggest free agent acquisition in baseball at the time. He gets to collect again $1.19 million from the New York Mets and will continue to do that every July 1st. I wish I had a deal like that in this business that I'm in. Good luck, Bobby. Congratulations again. You took the Mets to the bank and you're still collecting. That All-Star game is coming up soon, 2 weeks. And the leading vote getter, Jose Altuve of the Houston Astros. Expect to see a lot of Astros on the field and on the American League team. A lot of Yankees, a lot of Red Sox, and we'll give you more about that next week as we get ready to the countdown to Major League Baseball's midseason break, the All-Star Game. Speaking of the power rankings, as we approach the midpoint of baseball, of course, they stay on top. The New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox. I got the Houston Astros third. The Atlanta Braves follow fourth, and then you could sneak in the Mariners and Brewers as a fifth spot. But what seems to be shaping up here right now is the American League as the premier league in baseball. They've got the teams, they've got the power, they've got the pitching. And the National League, it just looks like it might be the Brewers or even the Atlanta Braves who are leading their respective divisions. And I like the Atlanta Braves, this young team in town this week to play the Yankees. I like them because they're young, athletic, they're the surprise of baseball, and more so, the big story in baseball this year, and a great story it is to see these youngsters, just like the Yankees youngsters, progress as soon as they've had. So, a lot of baseball going on, a lot of boxing going on. We know it's not boxing season. The big news, once again, is Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. This fight's going to happen. We just don't know when to unify the heavyweight championship. There's been a lot of back and forth on social media. $50 million. Joshua now is not going to fight Wilder maybe till next year. But believe me, folks, this fight to unify the heavyweight title will happen. It will happen probably in the fall, if not early next year. And it'll be the most anticipated fight in the heavyweight division that we have seen in years since the Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis era, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, whatever. We'll see that fight happening soon. Speaking of boxing, last week we wanted to show you Matchroom Boxing. Eddie Hearn is the promoter of Anthony Joshua out in England. They are starting their own sort of pay-per-view app channel to watch fights. And they're going to be doing a lot of fights in the United States, overseas, in the New York area. Let's take a look at this again. About a month ago, they had a kickoff press conference in New York. Let's take a look. Eddie, real quick, welcome to New York. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is a significant thing for boxing that you put off.
Yeah, it's huge for us as a business, huge for the landscape of boxing. It's the biggest rights deal in the history of the sport. It gives us ammunition, it gives us a bigger rights budget than Showtime and HBO put together. So we have a really good chance now to go and build a really strong stable of fighters. You've seen the success we've had in the UK, and we're looking to replicate that success in the US.
Do you have any idea what venues you will stage these shows?
All the major venues. A lot of them are here tonight.
New York, Madison Square Garden?
Of course.
Barclays?
Yeah, we've already done shows at Barclays Centre.
Yeah.
We've got guys from MGM here today, from the Forum, from MSG, so Barclays over there. So everybody's interested, everybody knows the level of investment that we have in this project, and of course everybody wants to get paid.
Any chance that we'll see your heavyweight champion on one of these shows?
Yes, every chance. I mean, at the moment, till we know what his next move is, we'll have to wait and see. But of course, the deal is not dependent upon Anthony Joshua, but the platform would like Anthony Joshua, as every other broadcaster in America would.
How do you think your competitive promoters are feeling about this right now? Because you're making a big impact fast.
I think I'd be a worry without the money, but obviously with the money, I'm extremely dangerous. But we mustn't be reckless with it. We've got to be smart. We've seen other people get a lot of money and blow it, so we've got to make the right moves. We think we've got the right strategy in place and the right model, and we look forward to providing great nights for US fight fans.
And you wouldn't do this unless you thought the sport was thriving.
Yeah, of course, and I think that this is a great opportunity for us I'm a fight fan, so this is an opportunity for us to create shows for the fans by a fight fan. Right. We don't have to come on at 10 p.m. because there's a film on. We can show the entire card. We can build a great roster of commentators and presenters. We can build up shows. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Any reason why you launched this in New York today?
They're based in New York. Obviously, you've got Linares Lomachenko, so you've got a lot of media in town. And this is going to be our central hub in terms of our head office. So seems like the right place to do it. What a beautiful day.
The mindset is what we call it. Ed, one more thing. Joshua, while everybody's asking you, are we any closer to it?
All I can say is that the communication continues. So we're talking, we're interacting with the other team, which is positive. Joshua wants to fight in the UK because he feels like we've built something very special there and we should give that to the UK fans. Their offer is for a US fight, but we're talking. I believe both sides want the fight and hopefully we can get it over the line.
By the end of the year?
Yes, I hope so.
All right, Ed Kern, thank you.
Cheers.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good talking to you. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Nah, maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder? You're hungry, morning, day or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we're doing with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with Boar's Head Oven Gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price.
You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
So plenty of boxing coming up, but not until September because this is not the boxing season. Oh, The Undertaker's in the house, by the way. Let's not forget. SummerSlam coming up pretty soon at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And, of course, me and The Undertaker, we have a great alliance together. And Yang is going to get The Undertaker in the house sooner or later. Right, my friend?
Yeah, buddy.
There he goes. Behind the cameras, my great producer, director, Yang. Yang. Whatever they call him. Yay for Yang. Whatever. World Cup action, folks, and that continues coming down to the end. And we look at Argentina out, Belgium in, Brazil, Croatia, the host Russia. It's anybody's championship now for the World Cup. If you're a soccer fan, you enjoy it. You don't like soccer, you don't. I happen to like soccer. Now, 2 years ago, you asked Rich Mancuso about soccer. I would say I have no interest. But I go to NYCFC games here in New York at Yankee Stadium, enjoy it, cover the team. And by the way, that team under a new coach, 1-1 now. Tarrant is a new coach out of Spain. And they have a couple of home games coming up, so we'll be watching them more, too, and give you some reports right from the NYCFC locker room. But the World Cup right now still center stage, coming to a finale, and it's right now anybody's game with Argentina and Mexico out of the picture. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Ashra Mini Market here in the Bronx, where you get all your great daily needs and free delivery. And also Razor Sharp, Rob in the Bronx. Rob with Razor Sharp. Get your beard, your trim, your haircut, and everything else. That's Razor Sharp in the Bronx and Ashra Mini Market. Thank you for being a loyal sponsor. Sports with Rich, all bases covered. For the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. All right, Big John is back in the house. Hey, John.
How are you, Rich?
He's by the locker room area here. Hey, John, you like that spot?
Yeah.
You're in the locker room.
Yeah. It's like maybe the Yankee locker room.
Yeah, John. Of course, you're wearing your Yankee you're wearing your Yankee apparel.
Yeah, I was there Friday night with the Red Sox. What a great atmosphere.
Yeah, so was I all weekend. It was such a great. What did you like about it that I didn't?
You know, it's just the atmosphere. You see Yankees, Red Sox.
You sat in the bleachers?
Yeah, I was right behind Andrew Benintendi.
Oh, what's up? Oh, I'm sure you booed him, right?
No, there was a heckler. I put it on my Facebook. He was heckling him. And it was pretty crazy. It was like, hey, Andrew, can you catch that ball? And, you know, I had a question for you guys. I had a question for Rich and Brandon. What do you think, briefly, do you think hecklers should be, like, escorted out of the stadium if they got, like, two?
As long as they're not too abusive, John, because they're paying an admission, you know. You paid for a ticket. Wait a minute. Now, back up. How much heckling did you do to the Red Sox?
Not much.
Oh, come on.
Profanity or anything.
Come on. I don't believe that.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, you know, maybe a little bit when, like, Hicks hit that drive to the wall and he missed it. So.
Yeah, and?
No, and, you know, that was it, but just a little bit. And then, you know, and then when the Yankees...
So you were at that Friday night game when the Yankees won that big, and then I covered the last two, Saturday night and Sunday night, when it went flip-flopped. You know, the Yankees lost. They had their biggest defeat of the season Saturday night because of one Sonny Gray, and I'm sure you, as a Yankee fan as you are, they're calling for the ouster of Sonny Gray.
You know, I think that may happen. I think, you know, I hate to see it. Sonny's trying really, really hard. But the Red Sox tattooed him.
All right. John, I'm going to take you, because we're not doing sports updates, because we're not live, as everyone knows, and we're not going to be for the next few weeks.
Oh, Rich, just to correct you, not to interrupt, it was the Seattle Mariners that broke the home run.
Oh, thank you very much. It's nice to know that. So it's nice to know that you're listening to me and that you could back me up. That's really good.
Great job, John.
Well, thank you, Brandon. Brandon's in the background. You're going to see Brandon as we cut out a break in a moment.
My buddy Brandon's over there?
Yeah, he's there. But John, in the locker, you like the locker room?
Yeah, I'm in the locker room. There's a broom here. I could clean up a little bit if I had to, you know.
And you're going to go out and you're going to do some hitting with the kids again, or get some batting tips later on, right?
Yeah, it's hot. I'll do a little batting segment.
Yeah.
And, you know.
All right, John, I'll put you on the spot, okay?
Okay.
End of September. Be objective. 3 games end the season, Yankees, Red Sox. Who goes to the wild card? Who wins the division?
That's a tough one. And to be fair, I'm going to say the Yankees win. And I'm going to say the Red Sox get the wild card against Seattle. And then, now as you know, it's rough because they're going to have to face James Paxton. That's what's crazy about it.
All right, but the Yankees definitely need some more pitching.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? This is ironic.
All right, hurry up. We got 10 seconds. Do it 10 seconds.
Okay.
Let's go.
A wild card team is going to win 100, 105 games.
3 teams in the American League could win 100 or more games. Yankees, Red Sox, Astros. And I think the last time that happened was in the 1800s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, come on, you corrected me on the Seattle Mariners, that stats, and not correct on that. All right, but you know it all. John, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you a little more during the next hour or two, and then get you out there and hit some baseballs with the kids again, right?
I'm looking forward to it.
I heard your swing got better. Hey, but stay with us, John. We're going to leave you with the fact of the week before we go at our first break. And we tried to get this 2 weeks ago and never gave you the answer. And these guys here with me don't have the answer. But again, how many hot dogs are purchased each year at a baseball game? Think about it. How many hot dogs are purchased each year at baseball games? And with vendors thinning down more and more in ballparks because fans like to go to the restaurants and the luxury suites and all that, hot dog vendors are becoming a thing of the past. So we'll give you that answer and come back at you much more here with All Bases Covered, Sports with Rich from the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Back with some more after this.
You You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Welcome back. The Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. I'm Rich Mancuso. All Bases Covered. Sports with Rich, as we are every week on YouTube Live and all your other social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook Live, also Twitter, whatever you got. I don't know. In this world of technology, there's everything. I don't know what else they'll have out there. Maybe tomorrow they'll come up with something else, but I don't even want to know because I don't remember my own passwords on things anymore. That's how many there are. Thanks again to Ace Mini Market and Deli. As you saw, some great food in that deli here in the Bronx and takes care of us here at the Baseball Training Institute every week. And also to Rob at Razor Sharp, where you want to make sure you keep yourself nice and trim. And I could talk to Brandon Colon about that because Brandon Colon, here he is. He's back with us this week and every week.
Great to be back, Ray.
Yeah, it's always good to see you, except one problem, Brandon.
I don't see any issue. What could you be possibly?
Yankee cap.
No, there's no issue.
What are you, consulting with Big John all the time?
There we go. John got the shirt on.
Yeah, I know he's got the shirt on. We're going to see John again in a moment. But why must you wear a Yankee cap in front of me? Come on, you're my buddy.
One, because I'm a fan, and two, because you kind of don't like it, so it's a little bit more fun for
Oh, really? You want to irritate me?
Just slightly.
Really?
Not as much as John
Really?
irritates.
You don't want to get in a boxing ring with me. I'm very volatile right now.
I would never.
All right?
Of course.
Yeah, no. You don't want to do that with me, right?
Just a little
So, Brandon, welcome back. It's been, and you're going to be on now for as you are every week with us, and we're talking a little more next hour. And before we go into your NBA segment and talk a little about the NFL, and I'll let you do that because that's really your expertise. Not that I'm dumb about this stuff, but you're good at that. You know, and you study that a little more than me, especially during the height of baseball season for me.
Yeah, you're all in it right now.
No, too much. I tell you the truth, I'm tired of it, and I'm going to be going to the All-Star game, so there's really no break for me right now until the end of September, October. But I'll catch a break once in a while. In the meantime, did you catch this? Aaron Judge was throwing a baseball.
Yeah,
I thought this was so great. Because this is why Aaron Judge is the face of Major League Baseball.
Yes.
In Philadelphia last week, decided a kid was in right field.
Yep.
Before the Yankees are on the field.
Wearing our Aaron Judge All-Star jersey from last year.
Yeah, and then he playing catch with a young man. That'd be phenomenal, and that kid will never forget that.
It's amazing. You know, it's just one thing if fans go out there trying even just to catch a ball, but to go out there and now you're playing catch with Aaron Judge, one of the best outfielders in the game, and he's just tossing the ball around with you. It's just one unforgettable moment that kid will never forget it.
That's never happened to you.
No.
Right.
Listen, I never caught a ball. I got lucky, grounding on the floor, and I picked one up. I never got to catch one.
But a kid gets you throwing a ball to Aaron Judge in right field. Phenomenal thing.
It's amazing, and I'm sure he'll remember that for the rest of his life.
It was terrific for Major League Baseball to see that, and just it made for terrific what I call baseball theater. Fantastic. And did you catch this? There's a look-alike in sports.
Who do you think looks?
Aaron Judge and Aaron Gordon, the Orlando Magic. Now you take a look at this photo as we show it to everyone out there. Take a look at it.
Okay.
Tell me that these two can't pass for twin brothers.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it, definitely. And, Aaron Judge, you got two Aarons here. He played a little basketball. He just, that wasn't his passion going out when he was in college. So, I mean, maybe they switch places a game and see what Aaron
Well, I tell you, they look alike, or they look like twins, that's for sure.
They definitely
and they're both of them are phenomenal athletes.
Yes,
There's no doubting about that.
Aaron Gordon, he just got paid.
Yeah,
4
he's
years,
one of those. They're
$4
going to
million.
talk about that. Big John, do you think they look alike?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I just saw it on Facebook.
Yeah. John's in the locker room again. What do you think? Huh?
What was that,
Well,
Rich?
stop waving your head and listen to me.
No, what was that, Rich? I didn't hear what
Aaron Judge
you got that?
and Aaron Gordon, don't they look alike?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Is that all you got to say?
Pass for brothers.
Who do you look like?
Oh,
Brandon, who
man,
does he look
a
like?
young Kojak.
Who does he look like? He looks like a typical Yankee fan that would sit in the bleachers and throw obscenities at the Boston Red Sox as he did this past weekend.
What else is he supposed to do? Isn't that like the
No, that's not being a fan. I never threw obscenities at players before I got in the press box. I throw obscenities at them when I'm in the locker rooms and in the clubhouses, right? Yeah, that's what I do. That's Rich Mancuso. Yang, have you ever thrown an obscenity when you've been at a fight? Because he goes to a lot of boxing.
Absolutely.
You too?
Thank you.
Shame on you. I really
don't
is.
even feel bad.
Right. And I got, you know what? I got a visitor just walked in the studio from Baseball Training Institute because he loves to be on camera. Can you get the camera on Anthony a minute?
Actually, just behind the scenes.
Oh, there he is. That's Anthony Melendez, a trainer at the Baseball Training Institute and a part of the Melendez family operation here. Have you ever thrown an obscenity? You played pro ball. Have fans thrown an obscenity at you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah? And how did you react?
It's part of the sport. You can't really.
So you took it?
You have to.
You didn't give him the finger back?
You're not supposed to.
No?
You can get fined.
Okay. Now there you have it.
They get you in your pocket.
Yeah,
so
well,
you can't really do that.
Yeah, okay, Anthony.
I mean, would you want to? Absolutely, of course, but you stay classy, you stay in the moment, and you just become better.
Yeah, well, that's because that's you. And
exactly. I'm not
I know you. You're on camera now, so don't tell me that. Okay? Yeah.
Come on.
All right, Anthony. You know what? Welcome, and we'll be talking to you because you do some great baseball instruction with these kids here.
Thank you.
And no kidding aside, it's fantastic stuff. And we're going to be bringing you on, along with Mom Jessie. She'll be here in a moment, who runs this whole operation with your dad, Tony. And we'll talk more about it. All right, Brandon, it's your time. All right? And just your time before we throw it to another break. You're going to give us the latest on the LeBron James signing.
Yes.
You're going to tell us more about what's going on in the NBA free agency period now. This is a big time. A lot of money, a lot of players going different places. It changes complexions of a lot of teams.
Yep.
And also you give us something about the NFL as well, because training camps are like a week away, 2 to opening up, right?
Away, yes.
So it's all yours, Brandon Cologne. Take it.
We kick it off with some breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He just tweeted out that Rajon Rondo signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, a 1-year deal. Not really sure about the money just yet. But now that we're talking about the Lakers, let's get to the big news from last night. Obviously, LeBron James signing a 4-year, $154 million contract with the Lakers. That was one of the big surprises for me, was that he was giving them guys 4 years of his time. And, he's been signing these 1-year deals, 1-and-1 with the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he's decided to, stay there in Los Angeles and spread his roots out and get things started out in LA and with this Lakers organization and get them back to the top. I think one big factor that definitely helped them out was his son. 2 of his sons, Bronny and Bryce, have become really good basketball players in their own right. And, this is a good step for them out in LA to try and play with some good teams and see what they can do. And LeBron has mentioned that he wants to play with his son, hopefully, in the NBA someday. So we'll see what happens. Another big name out there who signed a deal, Paul George of the Oklahoma City Thunder. A lot of speculation that he would go to LA with LeBron, but surprisingly, he decided to stay with the Thunder and join his close friend Russell Westbrook. Obviously, they played together 1 year with Carmelo Anthony, and a lot of thoughts were he would play that 1 year with OKC and just leave and go join the Lakers. But clearly there was a bond there between him and Russell and him and maybe the city of Oklahoma City. He just loved being there, and he decided to sign a 4-year deal himself, $137 million. And so that was the max contract he got from them. And it was interesting to see. Obviously, they got kicked out in the first round last year, but we'll see what happens if they can add some more people. They re-signed Jeremy Grant, and they see if they add some more additions. They get Andre Roberson back from injury, and see if they can make a run in the playoffs and challenge this new LeBron Lakers team. Let's go back to Chris Paul from the Houston Rockets. Obviously, he got hurt in the Western Conference Finals of last season, and 2 games away from making the finals. It would have been his first trip to the finals, and he got hurt in Game 5 and wasn't there to help his Rockets team try and beat the Warriors in Game 6 and 7. But he is back again for next year. He signed a 4-year max deal, $160 million. So Chris Paul will be rejoining back up with James Harden, the MVP. Congrats to him. He won MVP this past weekend or 2 weekends ago. And they'll be trying to take a crack at the Warriors one more time, see if they could get over that hump and get into the finals and hopefully, bring the finals back to Houston. You never know what can happen. Obviously, the West has gotten much tougher with LeBron out there, but they're definitely one of the top 3 teams out there now. And bringing Chris Paul back is going to do nothing but help them. And let's go to your New York Knicks and your Brooklyn Nets. The Knicks, you know,
I'm going to stop you real. I didn't want to do this, but when you say your, my, or we, that means you're a fan.
No, so I wasn't. I mean, so are we not in New York, Rich? Is this not the Bronx?
Yes, but we're talking to a worldwide audience now.
So not your New York
We're on
Knicks.
YouTube Live.
Not
We're all
your
over the
New
place.
York Knicks.
Right.
The New York Knicks.
And it's not me and my. You never hear me say my New York Mets.
My Yankees. I will.
Well, you got the hat on. All right, go ahead.
Say my Yankees.
I'm sorry. Keep going, Brandon. Great job. Keep it up.
So the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn, that's not your New York Knicks, but the New York Knicks, they were reportedly. So let's get to the not breaking news, but some news that came over the weekend. James Dolan was supposedly setting up some type of, let me see what I got here, some type of, he's setting up a way to maybe sell off the Knicks and get them not connected to the Garden, so he can still have ownership of MSG, the Madison Square Garden company, but not the Knicks, and maybe sell them, the Knicks and the Rangers, and maybe sell those off. He came back and put out a statement and said that's not true, and he's not openly looking to sell the Knicks or the Rangers.
And that would be good, though.
Yes, of course. Knicks fans were elated when they heard that, and as a lot of people mentioned, the stock went up as soon as they heard that news. But then he came out the next day and said those rumors were false. So unfortunately, he may be stuck with James Dolan for a much longer time than he thought. But as far as free agent signings, they signed Luke Cornett, who was the center for them last year towards the end of the season. It's clear that the Knicks are just going with one-year deals so they can try and bolster up their cap space for next year and try and go after guys like Kawhi if he doesn't get traded, Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and whoever else could be available next season. They also signed the Croatian Kobe, as he was called out in Croatia, Mario Hezonja, who's a fifth pick, in the first round, right after Kristaps, the Orlando Magic. He didn't get much playing time, and when he did, he didn't produce until last year where he averaged 9 points, and he sort of got things going. So the Knicks are taking a chance, high risk, low risk, high reward, and it's only a one-year deal, so if he pans out, great. If not, then move on.
All right, I'm going to stop you for a moment. You'll continue and then throw the NFL news up real quick. But Brandon, question. Where does this leave the Cavaliers now? Obviously, young team without LeBron. They got rebuilding, obviously, all over again, right?
So this is very interesting for the Cavs because they still do have Kevin Love, who's a premier player in this league. He's definitely one of the top 10 power forwards, maybe top 5. There's not many really great power forwards in the league just yet. We got up-and-coming guys, but he's definitely up there. And you got a young guy in Colin Sexton who they just drafted to be their point guard. So it depends on what they want to do. If they want to, start the rebuild and try and get some draft picks, and maybe next year they draft a young guy to take over and be their next LeBron, maybe could never be that great.
Do the Lakers now look like perennial favorites with LeBron?
No, I can't.
Would it be?
I can't call them favorites, not just yet. When you got the Warriors out in the West, there's nobody who's really shown that they can beat them.
Who wants to see the Warriors again?
We may not want to see them again, but who's going to really be able to beat them yet? Obviously, the Lakers haven't made the move to get Kawhi. Maybe once they get Kawhi, they'll definitely put them at. Maybe the Lakers will become the favorites if they find a way to trade for Kawhi Leonard. He's definitely one of the top 10 power forwards, maybe top 5. There's not many really great power forwards in the league just yet. You got up-and-coming guys, but he's definitely up there. And you got a young guy in Colin Sexton who they just drafted to be their point guard. So it depends on what they want to do. If they want to, start the rebuild and try and get some draft picks, and maybe next year they draft a young guy to take over and be their next LeBron, maybe could never be.
Do the Lakers now look like perennial favorites with LeBron?
No, I can't.
Would it be?
I can't call them favorites, not just yet. When you got the Warriors out in the West, there's nobody who's really shown that they can beat
Dude, who wants to see the Warriors again in the championship?
We may not want to see them again, but who's going to really be able to beat them yet? Obviously, the Lakers haven't made the move to get Kawhi. Maybe once they get Kawhi, they'll definitely put them at maybe the Lakers will become the favorites if they find a way to trade for Kawhi Leonard and get him out there and team him up with LeBron. Then maybe they'll become the favorites.
Right, but still, this was a big signing in the NBA. Definitely. This was an impact story. This is going to have ramifications in the league, and of course, the NBA's got to love it because it's going to give the Lakers primetime exposure again. And he's a successor now for Kobe. In fact, Kobe congratulated him on Twitter.
Yes, I was not expecting that. I saw that right after the news dropped. Kobe welcoming into the Lakers fan family, telling him he loved them, and then obviously he'll be there and talking with LeBron throughout his whole tenure there. And it was great to see the love that he had for the move that LeBron made.
All right. By the way, Brandon, are you chewing gum on the air?
Unfortunately, yes, I am.
Well, we don't allow that in this studio.
So sorry.
Gum is not allowed in here.
Oh, man.
Big John, do you chew gum? Huh? Well, you don't have to be on camera to tell me that.
I do not. The way my teeth
gum on the air.
No, I do not. A lot of
And he took it out of his mouth.
What are you talking about, Rich? What?
Look, I didn't throw my coffee away. Look, truth demerits for you today. So far.
What's the first one?
Gum in the mouth, Yankee cap on your head.
I don't feel like the demerit should go for the Yankee cap. Okay. I feel like no way.
Brandon, that was great stuff. Next week we'll maybe have an NBA expert on the air with us. Now,
sounds good.
Let's go for the NBA and briefly with the NFL training camps on the horizon, a week or two away. Can't believe it. We're going into the NFL season almost.
NFL training camp.
Tell us what's going on there.
Right around the corner. Obviously, July. Most teams will be starting around July 22nd. Between like July 24th, most teams will get started, and that's when training camp begin. You have your veterans come in, your rookies come in, and try and get acclimated, and who's going to make the team. Some unfortunate news we have for the NFL. Seattle Seahawks safety Cam Chancellor was not medically cleared to play this season. He sort of announced his retirement. He never said he is retiring. So maybe there's a chance he'll come back. He did suffer a neck injury last year, and he wasn't medically cleared to play. And he was clearly very distraught in his dote that he put out to the NFL and all its family. And then some other news: Jameis Winston, he received a 3-game suspension for some personal misconduct off the field, where he allegedly inappropriately touched the Uber driver, and she spoke out, and obviously he's dealing with that. And so he's got a 3-game suspension. That's just some of the news going around the NFL right now.
Okay, but it'll pick up, and you'll have more news next week.
Yes, next 2 weeks.
Because the training camps are just about ready to go. We have the mini camp, and I'm looking forward to the NFL. It's a great time of year. It's the fall, which I love. And how about the Arizona Cardinals? I'm going to bring in our fantasy football expert, Scott Engel, from RotoPicks. Perfect. He'll be on the air with us in a week or two, and he'll help you fantasy football fans out a little bit.
Good, I need some help.
You talk about a guy who knows the NFL in and out. And I always pick his ear. He covers baseball as well up in the press box. And I ask him, how the Arizona Cardinals going to look? Because that's the team I root for. Yes. And notice, I didn't say we, I didn't say my, I said Arizona Cardinals. and they've got a young man who's going to back up Peterson at running back.
Yes. Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds out of Fordham University, who I know real well. I covered him for 4 years here in the Bronx. And he's going to be primarily the backup. He's going to make the team.
Definitely. If you look at Edmonds, and obviously you were there for most of his career in Fordham, he's definitely that prototypical NFL running back, and he can produce out there. So it's definitely no surprise if he makes this team, and when he makes this team, that he'll be out there getting snaps and being real productive for this Arizona Cardinals team.
And if you had to say, and it's too early though, the Eagles would be again up there to defend that Super Bowl championship.
They'll definitely be up there, and obviously you can never count out the New England Patriots.
But we'll talk more about that next week. Brandon, great job.
Thank you.
Except for the gum and the cap. Okay?
I don't have any.
Brandon's NBA and NFL recap sponsored by Razor Sharp in the Bronx. You're not sharp until you're razor sharp, according to Rob. Stop in, Razor Sharp for all your needs. Big John.
Yes, sir.
Let's get you, John, in the locker room before we go to our next break. And let's take a crack and see if anyone got the fact of the week. And don't forget, everyone, you can get us in the social media platforms as well. Facebook Live, and you log on to our channel on Facebook. It's Sports with Rich, all bases covered, and from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. Big John, how many hot dogs purchased each year at baseball games?
Wow, that's some question. Let's see. 4,500.
Well, you're not that far off, thank you.
I thought you were going to throw me out of the room.
You eat a lot of hot dogs in the bleachers, though, don't you?
No, actually, you know what? It's not really hot dog. It's bad for cholesterol and everything. Once in a while.
Oh, God, now we got a dietitian in the room. Just what I need.
Thanks, John. I needed to know that.
Yeah, so does Brandon.
Rich, I just wanted to point one thing out.
Mm-hmm.
the Lakers now have Stevenson and McGee.
Yes,
From
John,
the
you're
world
absolutely
champs
right.
NBA from the
Okay.
Golden State Warriors.
You know what, Brandon? I'm going to have him host with you one day when I'm not around.
I think it'll work perfectly.
And I think he'll handle it well. He's getting it. He's getting it.
Getting it. You got him
Yeah.
off the street, and he's
But you know
looking
what?
better.
We're going to get him more in those cages in a moment. The answer. You want to kick crack at the answer?
I'm gonna take a guess, and it's not because I looked at your paper over there.
Yes, you did.
I'm gonna say 21 million, Rich. Am I close?
Yeah. 21 million because you looked at my paper. Because no one would get that. Not where I get these facts.
Listen, you got
Three demerits for you
gotta
this
keep
week.
that close to the vest.
You
Listen,
cheated.
You gotta keep that close to the
Yang,
vest.
did you know
Rich.
the answer to that?
Not at
I don't
all.
think anyone did.
No, I
Brandon
had
did.
no idea.
You know
I
why?
had no
Because
idea.
he looked right here. All right. Anyway, thank you all for trying to crack at it. In the weeks to come, we'll give you fact of the week or a trivia question here. Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Here on YouTube Live and all your other social media platforms. In the weeks to come, we will try and get you a crack at a question, trivia, fact, whatever, and you get the answer in our social media platforms, whether we're live or not, and we'll have some free Yankee tickets for you coming or something else.
Does that go
maybe,
for?
yeah, maybe even
does
a
that go
look at
for
The
us?
Undertaker at SummerSlam was rumored to be there.
Man.
No, it doesn't go for
Oh,
us. You're
man.
media now. Remember, you're not a fan no more. Okay? The Undertaker will be back. So will Yang behind the cameras, Big John in the locker room, and of course, my buddy Brandon Colon helping me out each and every week here at the Baseball Training Institute studio live, or not, in the Bronx. Sports with Rich, all bases covered. Sponsored by Razor Sharp and Ace Mini Market in the Bronx. Back with you in a moment. We'll bring Jesse on. We'll talk. We'll even get John in the cages with the kids. And try and hook up with Howie Carpenter, who's a baseball expert extraordinaire, Sirius Satellite Radio, and an official scorer of Major League Baseball on the phone line. Back in a moment, fans. Stay with us. Good. You hungry, morning, day, or night? This is the place to go. Ace Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. You know, I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ace Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we're doing with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ace Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Nah, maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder?
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
And welcome back to All Bases Covered Sports with Rich from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. I'm Rich Mancuso. First hour went fast. Hope you enjoyed it. Reach us on Facebook. Click the link. It's the Facebook page. It's All Bases Covered Sports with Rich. And get us on all the social media platforms. Sponsored by Razor Sharp. or not sharp until you're razor sharp, and Ace from Mini Market, both in the Bronx. Thank you for your support. And leave your messages, and we'll go live with your phone calls when we resume live programming here in September. In the meantime, we're on tape, and hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Yang behind the camera, Big John in the locker room in a moment. We'll go out, do some hitting with the kids again, do some tips in the cages here at the Baseball Training Institute. And joining me on the studio right now as Brandon takes a break after that great NBA and NFL report, Steve Morrell, who's a trainer here at the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. And Steve also plays college ball for Alfred University, and he's also a physical and strength conditioning coach. Am I right about that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Did you, he's trying to put me in shape, and that's tough to do. That's real tough to do. But did you know that fact about hot dogs and how many are purchased in ballparks every year? And by the way, I don't eat hot dogs, so that doesn't contribute to the weight issue.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. You doubting me?
No, I don't know.
He's really strict, by the way. You gotta watch. He checks your carbs, and he checks to see how much water you're drinking, how much you go take a piss, all that stuff. That's him. Steve, welcome.
Thank you.
And first of all, I see you here and how you train these kids, and I see most of all your determination and your desire for this game of baseball. And briefly, you're a Bronx guy, right? And you live not too far from Yankee Stadium, so you grew up with the game.
Yeah.
And many say you look like Andrew McCutcheon.
Andrew McCutcheon.
And who else? Who else?
I get Jose Reyes.
Yeah, no, you don't look like Reyes. Believe me, I know him well enough to know that.
I got Vladimir yesterday. Vladimir Guerrero.
Well, to be more so, can you be one of them one day?
Hopefully soon.
How do you train in this game? What? Tell everyone out there, what takes most of the mentality? This game is so much mental.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to get to the top in this game, as you're trying to do?
First, you have to set aside the mental aspect of the game, then the physical. Then you have to prepare your mind to prepare your body physically, and then engage in the physical aspect of the game.
Which includes what?
Conditioning, skill work, and preparation and hard work.
How much mentality goes into this? You have to obviously work at it every day, as you do. And you also play on the college level, so this is not like a 6-7 month of a year regime. It's like almost every day, maybe one day you take a break.
No, there's no breaks.
Right.
Even on your day off, you're thinking about the game. You're thinking of what can you do tomorrow, or what can you eat today to make you healthier for the next hour. What decision are you going to make right now that's going to make you better for the next day, the next game, for when you wake up in the morning?
So give us an idea, give us a tip. Tell the young people watching and everyone else, that maybe a parent trying to get their son or even daughter today, because a lot of young girls are playing softball and even trying to get into pro ball, which I think will happen one day before I leave this world. What is the main thing the main component of the training to get yourself ready for this game of baseball?
Me personally, I think the main thing is the person has to want it. It's not the parent want it for the kid. The kid himself has to want to be this next Derek Jeter, this next whatever player, all-star he wants to be. He has to want to be that player. It's not just the parent for him. Because if not, the kid's not going to put the effort that he's supposed to be doing to accomplish that goal.
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Good evening. Welcome to the Baseball Training Institute. Sports with Rich. All bases covered. This is Big John. I'm at the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx, where the young kids train here. And Steve Morrell. Steve, I met you last week.
How you doing?
How you doing? How are you? Okay. So I'm going to do a little training here, a little baseball segment. And I'm going to hit a couple balls like I did last week. And okay, we're ready. So throw me about 5 balls. Okay.
Let's see where you're at now.
Okay. I'm a big, tall guy, right?
Let's see how your swing looks.
Okay. Okay, maybe get it up a little bit. Yeah, let me get my hip into it.
Yeah. Make sure you keep your eye on the ball.
Okay.
Ready?
All right, that was better.
One more. There it is. Let's do it again. One more.
One more. All right.
Back up a little bit.
Okay. These guys know, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right, that's it. Wow, you know what? It's 95 degrees out there. It's hot. And how'd I do, guys?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Just got to work on keeping your head there a little bit more, but swing doesn't look bad at all, Big John.
All right. You know, last week I did good with Steve. Okay, so back to Rich after these commercial messages.
You're hungry, morning, day, or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there, too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. You know, I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we're doing with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a good haircut. I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's there's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
so I give him what he wants.
Easier than cutting me or harder?
You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Welcome back to All Bases Covered Sports with Rich here from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx on YouTube Live, Facebook. Don't forget to get the page, my friends. Facebook Live, Sports with Rich, All Bases Covered. And we're here each and every week with you. And we'll be going live, completely live in September. Stay tuned for that. Leave us your messages and your feedback. As always, we'll get back to you. Brandon Colon, welcome back on the set.
Happy to be here. How did Big John do?
Yeah, John, how did you do over there? You enjoyed, saw a little bit of it.
I did pretty good, I gotta say. Humidity's up, it's hot, I was like breathing heavy after like 4 or 5 swings, but they were helping me. Steve Morello, they're the top trainers here, and Anthony Melendez, and they were showing me, keep my back foot back, right? And you just keep your eye on the ball. I did pretty good.
Yeah, you did pretty good.
What do you think? I did pretty good?
Yeah, you might have a roster spot on the Mets. I'll call Omar Minaya.
Well, I don't know about that. I think we'll stick to broadcast.
All right. All right, John, thank you, my friend. Back with you in a moment. We're going to wrap up in a little while. Sure. On the phone lines with me right now for the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx here at All Bases Covered Sports with Rich, longtime colleague and official scorer with Major League Baseball and also Sirius Satellite Radio, my friend Howie Carpin, who knows baseball in and out. We'll talk with him in a few minutes about baseball, trading deadline, all that stuff. Howie, my friend, welcome in.
Hey, nice to be with you.
Howie, always great talking to you, and I have you know that you're basically my first big baseball personality on the show.
Well, I'm honored.
Howie, lots to talk about with the trade deadline approaching, and we're just about a month away from it, 4 weeks. And the need in New York, and we're going to go beyond that as brief as we can, and Brandon, do jump in. The need is the Mets, of course, going to rebuild, get rid of all the dirt, as I call it, clean house. the Yankees looking for a pitcher. What have you heard of last?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, everyone who around baseball knows the Yankees are looking for an arm. Whether that's going to be a starter or a reliever remains to be seen, because, you know, if the Yankees feel that there's not someone out there that they feels their need as a starter, I see them beefing up their bullpen, which the contenders that they're in with the Red Sox and the Astros are two teams that are also going to be looking to beef up their pen. So then we'll add an arm, whether it'll be, you know, a starter or a combination of a starter and reliever, I think remains to be seen. It depends on how the market plays out. Obviously, the price will make a difference in how they, you know, proceed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're going to make a move one way or the other. I think the most coveted guy out there, bullpen-wise, right now is Brad Hand from San Diego.
Yeah, there was rumors last year that he would be coming to the Mets. Of course, that didn't transpire. What are you hearing as far as Manny Machado, some of the other big names that might be going? Briefly, Howie, can you give us your perspective on that?
Yeah, well, if you had to make a guess, I think Manny Machado will end up in the National League, and I think the Dodgers will bite. I mean, they'd love to grab him now to fill the shortstop hole whilst Corey Seager's injured. And who knows, if they brought in Machado and re-signed him, who knows if they'd ask Corey Seager to go to third, or, you know, and have Machado at short. So the Cardinals are also in that mix from what I hear. The Phillies were mentioned, but I don't see the Phillies being a match with the Orioles, even though the Phillies have a lot of young talent. So we'll see. I think he ends up in the National League.
Hey, Howie, Brandon Colon here. I'm co-hosting with Rich. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
So obviously we saw the Boston Red Sox yesterday. I'm a big Yankee fan, but I figured I'd show some love to the Red Sox. What do you feel like? What moves can they make? Obviously these two teams are fighting to stay out of the wild card. So what do the Boston Red Sox have to do to try and make a move to win the division?
Well, obviously, you know, for most people that follow the sport, they feel their starters are better than the Yankees, but their bullpen is not. So as I mentioned, I mean, they're going to be all in for a reliever. I see them, you know, poking San Diego for Brad Hand, and there's been a number of reports that teams are looking at the Marlins relievers like Barraclough and guys like that. So, you know, that's where they're going to, you know, have their focus. Their offense is good. There's no question it's a good lineup, although at the bottom third of the order doesn't compare to the Yankee lineup. The Yankee lineup is longer. But then, you know, when you get in a postseason situation, you win with pitching and timely hitting. You know, obviously you like your offense to be functioning against the better, because the teams you're playing obviously had better pitching to get to that point. So you're going to see solid pitching in the postseason. But the Red Sox realize they can't live off their starters. They're going to need a bullpen, you know, to clamp down leads when they get them and support their offense.
And David Price is not their answer. And neither is Sonny Gray for the Yankees, so I expect both teams to make moves, as I'm sure you're aware of. Howie, what about the Cleveland Indians? I don't have them in this mix at the end, but the Atlanta Braves are real. They really are.
Yeah, although they're relying on young arms, and you remember what happened to Colorado last year with all those rookie arms they had. They kind of wore down toward the end. Cleveland's dangerous because they're kind of flying under the radar. And that's a good team. Now they lost Danny Salazar for the season. They may be in the market for a starter, just like the Yankees. So that's another team that's coming to the mix. And as I said, they're going to win the division, you know, barring the greatest collapse in the history of the sport. There's no other team that can challenge them, so they can actually focus on the season right now and build their teams accordingly.
What's gone on with the Washington Nationals? I know Gio Gonzalez is off. Their pitching is struggling a bit. Their offense isn't there. Though I still see the Dodgers being a player in the West, the National League West.
I agree. I didn't have Washington making the playoffs in my preseason predictions, but then again, I had the Mets winning the division, so that cancels out a good one. But anyway, I wasn't sold on the Nationals going into the season. I knew Murphy was going to have trouble coming back. Daniel Murphy had a severe knee injury, and he doesn't look right to me. Bryce Harper, you have to think the free agent thing is on his mind. His batting average is too low. I mean, I know they poo-poo batting averages these days, but it's an indication of the year he's having. He's not having a good year in his book year, although he'll still be highly coveted. And, you know, they don't have a whole lot of depth. I mean, their catching situation is in flux. They're not getting a lot of production from the catchers. Scherzer's carrying them pitching-wise, and as you mentioned, Gonzalez hasn't been that great. Neither really has Taylor Roark and whoever else they're throwing out in the rotation. They have their problems.
And you look at the Dodgers, of course, they're making a little bit of a comeback after that early start in the first half, bad start. But they're key again. Justin Turner in the lineup, and also I feel Clayton Kershaw, and Jansen struggled at the beginning. Boy, in April he was a horror. Kelly Jansen. Yeah.
Well, they're going through the year after blues. They got to the 7th game of the World Series. It's tough to get back. They got off to that terrible start. Yeah, they've rallied a little, but last year, don't forget, they had that amazing stretch where they didn't lose many games. So it kind of took something like that to get them righted, but they're still dangerous in that division.
All right, briefly, Howie, before I let you go, and I'm going to have you in the studio as well in the weeks to come. Jacob deGrom, does he remain a New York Met? Noah Syndergaard, Jeurys Familia? Real brief. What do you think?
I think Familia goes. I think the other two stay. I'll be surprised. I'll be honest with you, Rich. I'm surprised more people want to trade. If you were going to trade one of the top two of deGrom and Syndergaard, I'm surprised more people want to trade Syndergaard.
Yeah.
He's 5 years younger than deGrom. I mean, with all due respect to the year deGrom's having, this may be his peak year. He may not be better than this.
No, right.
Syndergaard still has upside.
And that was Sandy Alderson's prize guy in a trade. One trade he made in New York that worked great was getting Syndergaard. Even Travis Denard was in the deal, but Travis, we know his story, injury prone, everything else, and very overrated. We've talked about that time and time again in the press dining rooms at the ballpark. Howie, we'll have more time with you in the weeks to come, okay, my friend? I'll see you at the ballpark, all right?
Thanks, Howie.
I'll be out there.
Thank you, Howie.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Thank you. Howie Carpet, Sirius Satellite Radio baseball analyst, Mad Dog Updates, you get him there. Also, one of the premier and senior scorers, Major League Baseball, official scorers in the game. We'll have him in the studio soon here at the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. We'll be back and wrap it all up. You're hungry, morning, day or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there, too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see.
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Welcome back. All Bases Covered. Sports with Rich. Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx studio. And, boy, we're almost wrapped up, Brandon. Been a long hour and a half or more. Sports talk and more. And Jesse been very busy today. Couldn't make it with us here in our final segment. Back next week, she'll talk more about the Baseball Training Institute and what's going on with Hanks Yanks, about 5-6 teams, 16 and under and below, young people that are playing organized baseball all around the city of New York, tri-state area, even heading to Tampa, Florida in a couple of weeks. Nice. Hanks Yanks program doing a lot for these young people, thanks to the support of Ray Negron and Hank Steinbrenner of the New York Yankees. And she'll talk more about that next week and also update us about the summer camp activity going on, a lot more going on here at the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. Of course, we're sponsored by Ashra Mini Market in Delhi and Razor Sharp, Rob the Barber, with all your great razor needs. Brandon, I heard The Undertaker's coming next week, for sure.
I'm hearing a lot of rumors around. I feel like The Undertaker may make an appearance next week. I guess we'll see what happens. No, it should be real interesting.
Yeah, well, he's going to be, I do, and I'm just, I know he's around. I get that feeling all the time with The Undertaker. All the time I get that feeling when, do me a favor next week.
Yes.
No gum in the mouth, which you took out.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Rich.
No, and that Yankee hat.
I think the Yankee hat's here to stay.
No, is it?
I think so.
A good job with the NBA and the NFL recap a little bit, and of course next week more NFL news from you.
Yes.
And I'm sure we'll know more about the NBA. And by the way, that draft was something else.
It was a great draft. And speaking of the draft, obviously the Knicks drafted Kevin Knox. A lot of people not really feeling the draft pick, but it's nothing but upside there. So we'll see what happens.
But Trey,
Summer League starts today.
And you're going to do some New York Liberty this week as well. Don't forget.
New York Liberty, check me out for me in the press area.
Yeah, you're a good writer as well.
I do.
NewYorkSportsDay.com,
Yes.
Bronx Chronicle, that's where I am, where Brandon contributes. Also Latino Sports. You can find me all over the internet. I'm everywhere, as everyone knows. Hey, in this business day, that's what you got to do, Big John.
Right?
Yes, sir, Rich.
John,
Yes.
you look good in the locker room this week.
Thank you so much.
One thing, though. Go to the locker room in the back, change the shirt. All right?
Looks great,
come
John.
on,
Shirt looks
this
great.
is- come on.
All right.
Brett Gardner's
It doesn't have to be a Met shirt. It could be another team, but it doesn't have to be that NY on it.
Well, I got some great news, and I'm sure you're not going to like this. Brandon's going to love this. If Syndergaard and DeGrom, one of these guys come to the Yankees during the trading deadline, I'm going to buy a DeGrom jersey.
Oh, but
There we go.
but it won't be a Met one though.
No, why would
No.
No, but a Yankee.
right.
Just to annoy
All
you,
right.
Rich.
Well, John,
I love you, but
John, thank you, my friend. Great job.
thank you so
Come
much.
up with some news next week, and let's see if that swing improves again.
I think it will.
It's getting better, Brandon, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yang, don't you think the great job behind the cameras again, Yang?
always,
Thank you.
always.
Thank you. Sometimes I got to force you to do certain things, but I love you. You know that. You make it. You don't realize the guy behind the camera or behind the glasses, we call it in this business. He's the guy that makes this happen.
Oh, yeah.
Not us. He does.
He's more important than us.
Without Yang Gear, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I found him. I didn't find him off the street. I found Yang Gear through the Hector Camacho camp, and I'm blessed that I got him. I really do.
He's what makes this happen.
He keeps quiet. He's a quiet guy. But when you mention Hector Camacho, his eyes light up. Because he grew up with the guy. He grew up with the whole family. And we'll have him on talk about that too. Folks, before we go, sad note. We've been hearing too much about icons in sports passing away the past few weeks. And that goes also behind the scenes in the media. And just today, saddened to hear the death of a longtime colleague for the Associated Press. I worked with him on the college basketball beat. Jim O'Connell, he was this type of guy to go out of his way and help you, especially if you were a rookie on the beat and you needed to get things done and you wanted to know more. Jim O'Connell was the guy. Jim was this laid-back, subtle person, but knew the sport of college basketball better than anyone. He educated yours truly when I was on that beat with him at the Associated Press. First at Fordham University as a sports information director, and later on in years became this acclaimed national college basketball writer and expert. He will be sorely missed. Sorry to hear about his passing, only 64 years of age. His family and all of us here, the family from the Baseball Training Institute, and also with us here at Sports with Rich, all bases covered, our condolences to the Jim O'Connell family. A sad day for sports, a sad day for all of us in media on the loss of a gentleman and an icon, Jim O'Connell. May he rest in peace. That's it for the show this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. A lot going on in the world of sports. Don't forget to log on Facebook and get the page, like the page, Sports with Rich, all bases covered. And you'll get your updates and you can interact with us with messages and we'll get back to you. And we're back with you next week again, Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. Thanks for tuning in. It's been great, guys. Let's say goodbye till next week.
See you guys
Bye.
next week.
See you next week.
Yeah, Big John, I know you're going to say goodbye. All right?
Yeah.
And to all of you, yeah.
New York.
And to all, don't forget, as I always said in my years at WFAN, keep it in the ring. Talk to you next week.